Welcome back to another episode of the Casey Campbell Podcast. Casey Campbell with you, of course. Pleased to be joined by Cooper MacNeil, one of the drivers of the Weathertech team. How's it going, man?
Yeah, good. We had a successful Roar weekend. Strong showing for not only a brand new Porsche race car, but for the first time Proton's run a Mercedes. So pretty proud of the effort so far. All three WeatherTech cars are starting in the top 5 for the 24-hour race next weekend. So really, couldn't ask for much more than that.
Yeah. So let's talk about like what kind of, with all the new, there's a lot of new things in IMSA this year, especially with GT. Talk about like what class you're in, because I know that there's, kind of explain all that.
Well, you've got GTD and GTD Pro. And the reasoning kind of behind the two separate classes is GTLM ended at the end of last year after a long run and great last year for the class, especially the Porsche. We did well, won a bunch of big races, so was pretty happy with that. But it was the last year of GTLM because lack of entries really is, I guess, what it came down to. Not only that, but the future of motorsports worldwide is really the GT3 platform, because you can race essentially the same car, the same chassis, almost the same BOP anywhere in the world. GT3 is pretty much a worldwide, racing class at this point. So IMSA wanted to, kind of go the GT3 route and keep everything GT3. Not only that, but I know Le Mans is going GT3 in 23 or 24. I think 24, I think.
Yep.
But they also wanted to keep essentially an all-pro class in racing in IMSA. So they came up with GTD Pro, again utilizing the GT3 platform, but for the different manufacturers and teams and driver lineups to have the ability to run essentially a full professional lineup and professional program.
Okay, so you're also in the you're in the 79, if I'm not mistaken, for the WeatherTech car, right?
Well, I'm driving two cars. I'm driving the 79 and the 97. One Porsche, one Mercedes, and then the 15 car is the second WeatherTech Mercedes, which I'm not driving.
Okay. I just wanted to just kind of confirm that, because so people know. Really, just also coming into this season alone, I know that with the new class this year in GTD Pro, what's it going to be like with everything in there now, with the Corvette guys as well, and of course a bunch of new cars before the LMDH class comes in.
Well, you don't have a BOP differential between Pro and GTD, so I expect the Pro cars and the AM cars to be racing against each other essentially, even though they're in two different classes. The BOP is the same. So obviously with 33, if I'm not mistaken, GT3 cars racing at the 24 this weekend, it's going to be busy. There's going to be a lot of cars fighting for track position, whether they're in the same class or not. So I expect some good hard racing, but it could get a little messy too.
Yeah, especially with all those with all the DPIs running around there too, and plus you got the LMP2 cars and the LMP3 cars. It's going to be plus there's 60 cars at this race.
61, I believe. Yeah, I mean, look, it's IMSA, it's multi-class racing. It's been the same. It has been since I've been racing in IMSA. So it'll be busy, but you've got some of the best drivers in the world competing this weekend. So hopefully everybody has a little bit of common sense at the end of the day.
Yeah, let's hope so on that one. Well, let's look into what this season brings. I know that for people that don't know, I know that the GTD Pro doesn't race in. It races in most of the races, but not all of them. Talk about your schedule. What that's going to be like this year?
Yeah, GTD Pro is racing in every other race that GTD is racing in, except Detroit and Mid-Ohio.
Yeah.
And that's because that's right around the Le Mans 24-hour time. So they give the pro teams, which essentially carried over from GTLM, that time off to prepare for Le Mans. So for me, I'll be racing full season of IMSA this year in Pro, GTD Pro, as well as the 24 hours of Le Mans. So not going to Detroit or Mid-Ohio doesn't really break my heart. Yeah, it's important to have that time off for not only us drivers, but more importantly, the crew, the ones that are really putting in the hard grunt work, getting all of the race cars and all the equipment and everything prepared for the biggest race of the year, Le Mans.
Let's talk about this Rolex 24 for a second. You know, this race is something to prepare for this for a 24-hour race. What's the biggest key in running this race and being right there up in the front of the field?
Well, yeah, you can prepare all you want, but you just got to stay out of trouble. And like we saw last year at the start of the race, our RSR was taken out before the race even started. So you can have all your preparation done, everything ready to go, but if you have contact or mechanical failure or something like that, you're out of it. So it's important to stay out of trouble, keep the car clean, keep the car on the racetrack, out of the pits, out of the garage, and really in as best shape as possible, because the last 6, 8, 10 hours of the race are really where everybody starts to either show their pace or run even more flat out than they have been for the previous 12 hours. So I think just staying out of trouble, staying out of the garage, keeping the car clean, having good pit stops, and staying in contention is important. Obviously, that goes without saying for any endurance race, but Daytona, like you said, with 61 cars, is going to be really busy. So everybody's going to be fighting for the same piece of real estate on the racetrack, and you just hope you're fighting for that at the end of the race.
Right. All right. And then lastly, I know that you're going to be. What are we going to expect out of the WeatherTech team this year?
Well, hopefully some wins. That's what I expect out of the WeatherTech team this year. Yeah, no, we're going to be in Pro for the full season with the Porsche. It'll be myself and Julian Andlauer, factory Porsche driver, for the full season in the car. So, we had our work cut out for us last year in GTLM and ended up winning the 12 hours of Sebring, Road America, as well as the season finale Petit Le Mans. So obviously the team showcased that we can win races in the professional category. So I'm hoping for more of the same this year.
All right. Well, Cooper MacNeil, thank you so much for coming on and spending a few minutes with us. Good luck at the Rolex 24 this weekend.
Thanks for having me, Casey.